Welcome back to the Subtl YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you this high contrast makeup tutorial look. Now, if you have not been following along in my contrast series, essentially you can either be low, medium, or high contrast. And by knowing your contrast level, it will help you to do your makeup better. Now, I am technically, I believe, medium contrast. I've done a low contrast tutorial that I will pop up on screen, and I've also done a medium contrast makeup tutorial that I will pop up on the screen. If you're not sure what your contrast level is, I will tag a video below. The creator is on TikTok. She is a French makeup artist and she does a bunch of tutorials and talks a lot about this and will help you figure out what your contrast level is. But here are some photos that I'll pop up on screen of celebrities that would be considered high contrast. Some of these would be like Zoey Deschenel, Anne Hathaway. Basically, when you have a high contrast between the features on your face. So typically that's gonna be light skin and dark bold features like dark hair, dark brows, dark eyes, although you can have light eyes and still be high contrast, again, like Zoey Deschenel is an example of this. And basically what you wanna do with your makeup when you are high contrast is kind of even everything out and also add intensity. If you've been trying to do this no makeup look trend or, clean girl makeup with no eyeshadow, very pale colors, and it just doesn't look good on you, or you just feel like you look at photos and you look super washed out, that might be because you are actually medium or high contrast makeup and you're doing your makeup low contrast and it doesn't look good on you. So I think this has been such a helpful thing for me to research and dive into, and I would highly recommend that you do the same. The main thing that this creator talks about in regards to high contrast is that the right lip color for you is going to make a world of difference, and usually that's going to be something that's like a red or a deeper burgundy. It can just be a stain. It doesn't have to be like super fancy, but when you have like low, casual makeup days, you're still going to want to just like swipe on a nice lip and cheek color that adds some color and depth to your face. You're not going to want to be just going with these super pale neutral shades because that's just gonna wash you out. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. All right, so let's dive in. To start out, I am going to go in with a foundation. This is the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. I mixed the shades Deauville and Fiji. Now, if you've been following along with Subtl and specifically my tutorials for a while, you'll know that a lot of the times I like just doing concealer because the Subtl concealer is so smooth, creamy, versatile. But as you can see, I'm dealing with a lot of acne and hyperpigmentation right now. That's just real life, so I'm gonna go in with a foundation. But what I haven't shared is that the reason I've been dealing with this is because I'm actually pregnant and expecting number 2. When I first started filming Subtl videos, I think I was like maybe 4 months postpartum with my first. So it's so crazy to see like my skin has gone through so much in these past 2 years. I deal with adult acne on and off, but when you go through pregnancy and postpartum and all the things, like your skin can do some crazy things. All that to say, this is why I love Subtl, because it's so versatile. Like if you have a lot of acne and you feel like, I just want a nice base to cover up, you can do foundation. Or if you feel like just doing the concealer, like it honestly works really well for covering up acne too. Okay guys, I just got 2 brand new concealers in. I'm so excited. So this is 4N and 3N. I usually do kind of like a mix of the 2 shades. I've always obviously loved Subtl products, but especially becoming a mom and going through postpartum and then even like pregnancy and the first trimester when I just felt so terrible, was laid out on the couch most days. I would seriously, I should have filmed it. I didn't, but I would just grab my Subtl stack and do my makeup in bed. Subtl stacks are made for real life, for busy people on the go, or when you're sick, laid out on the couch. Now I'm gonna go in with some of the 4N concealer here. Just give a nice smooth base. I also just wanted to let you guys on this channel know, because if you feel like my face shape and things are changing, I get a little bit out of breath over these next few months. That's why. Also pregnancy related, and obviously just it being winter, my lips have been so dry lately. So I definitely need to add some lip balm. I'm doing vanilla sugar, which smells so good. Now the tutorial that I looked at for this look, she started with some bronzer and just really warming up the face in a somewhat messy way. And she said that that just really adds like balance and symmetry to the face. So I'm gonna go in with the 15C concealer. Okay, I might have used too much. Okay, it's okay. We're gonna blend it all in. You know what? I think I'm gonna blend it out with the Beauty Blender. I'm gonna go in and add some to tips of the nose or to the edge of the nose. And sometimes in the winter, like you really just need bronze all over. I usually put some on the chin, this side, and again, just using the Beauty Blender to kind of blend it all together. And when I use a Beauty Blender, I run it under the water, squeeze it out, and then dry it off in a paper towel. So it's just like a little bit damp. Okay, I feel like that actually gave a really nice overall glow. And then for lips, you can just put a little bit underneath like that, and it kind of adds like a little bit of lip contour. And then usually after all that blotting and blending, when I have pretty bad acne, sometimes it will peek back through. So I'll go back in with the concealer, tap it on top. And you guys, the unthinkable has happened today. I can't find my shine control powder anywhere. So normally I would be setting this with the shine control powder, but I don't have it right now. This is a bit out of order, but I'm gonna go ahead and add the brows in now, because with high contrast, usually they have, again, like pale skin and very dark hair and dark features. You can also have light eyes, like someone like Zoey Deschenel is an example of high contrast with light eyes, but I feel like it'll just make me look more high contrast to really fill these eyebrows in. And I'm gonna go a little more dramatic than I normally would, just to mimic what someone with high contrast features would normally look like. I really just mimic the eyebrow hairs here in very light strokes. Those aren't even that dark, but to me it feels dark. Okay, so I use the pencil side. Oh, and this is the Brow BFF in medium brown. I just love this thing so much. I was watching an old Subtl tutorial that I did from like a year ago, and I whipped out my old brow pencil. I was like, oh my gosh, that was pre-Brow BFF. I'm so glad they came out with this. The gel is so nice also because you can really like tame the hairs and put them all in place, or you can make things a little more fluffy if that's your vibe. Okay, and then I am gonna go in over top with the bronzer. I'm going in with a Leche, kind of mimicking what she did in the video, which was just being kind of messy and really going all over. And I'm using the fluffy brush from the 4-piece brush set for this. Okay, then she talks about how lip stains can look really good on high contrast, especially if you want to do more of like an everyday makeup look and you don't want it to look super polished or dramatic, I guess. I think I'm gonna go in with Bordeaux on the Go. This is a brand new one. Look how pretty. So I'm gonna start here. And I always like to make sure I dot on each side and then blend together. And I'll even kind of switch back and forth between cheeks like this because you don't want it to be uneven. And I really focus the spots on the upper cheekbone, and then I kind of blend out in a circular motion from there. And then this side is just looking like it needs to be cleaned up with some concealer. Okay, and then she goes in on the lips. I'm gonna do Bordeaux on the Go, because like I said, this really reminds me like of a cheek stain. I'm gonna do a little on my nose too. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use Guava Getaway as like a lip liner. I think the hardest part with like bold or red lips for me is like making sure it's within the lines and doesn't look messy, which is why I like using a brush because it's very precise. I'm gonna try a trick I saw on social media, which was kind of cleaning up the edges of your lips with concealer. I think she used a brush when she did it, but I feel like that looks really nice. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go in with a little Guava Getaway on the cheeks as well. Kind of darken things up a little bit and match the lips. For the eyes, she goes in with a burgundy, so we're going to use the new Flight eyeshadow duo. And I'm gonna go ahead and use the sparkly color. And she just kind of applies it along the lash line and then blends it out. I think there might have been some dark eyeshadow left on this brush, but it kind of works. Whoops, should have used the dry brush cleaner. This is so out of the norm of what I usually do, but for high contrast, I know a dramatic eye looks really good. It's just that I'm not necessarily high contrast, but you know, this could work for like a dramatic date night look or something. Okay, then she goes in with the bronzer and a fluffy brush. I'm gonna use this dual-ended one from the 4-piece brush set, and she kind of like buffs it into the crease. And then she takes almost like a bronzy brown eyeshadow. Let's look through my subtle shadows and see which shade would be best for that. I think I'm gonna use this shimmer from Staycation. Okay, and then she's just pressing it where she applied the stick shadow. Applying shimmer with your fingers always adds much more pigment, by the way, and when you just kind of press it on, it lasts much longer. Okay, and then she does just kind of blend it all together. She made a good point. She said if you ever use too much like blush or bronzer, you can take your foundation brush or your beauty blender and just kind of smooth it all together. Okay, lastly, I'm gonna add just like a little bit of kind of a faux liner, if you will. So I'm gonna take the dark color from Dune and this eyeshadow brush and just add it only along the lash line. And then I'm gonna add just like a little bit underneath as well. Okay, next I'm gonna add some mascara. And I'm gonna show you guys one of my all-time craziest makeup hacks that I've never shown on here before. And people think I'm insane when I do it. So I left my eyelash curler in the car. So what I like to do is when my lashes are still wet, because they're kind of straight, I will take the hairdryer, put it on low. Please make sure it's not too hot when you do this. I like to press this cool shot button. Okay, look how gorgeous. Call me crazy, but I seriously feel like it works so much better than an eyelash curler and is also longer lasting and also causes less damage. So hairdryer it is. Okay, seriously, look at the difference. So this is the before and after. Try that at home, but safely. Please don't like burn your eyeballs. All right, and there we have it. A final high contrast makeup look. Now, again, I really am medium contrast, so I do feel that this is a bit intense for my skin tone, but regardless, I think it was fun to do, and I wanted to provide all 3 contrast level tutorials for you guys so that you could follow along based on your contrast. Back in high school, I had black hair, so I feel like maybe that would have made me high contrast. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think of this look. Let me know if you figured out your contrast level yet and played around with it. And please don't forget to subscribe. We post new videos every single week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.